there. My name is Andrea and welcome to Tuesday Talks. I decided that since we're all stuck at home, I would take the opportunity to chat with people about information to help move you towards your health goals, even during everything that's going on, and share some of the knowledge that I have based on personal and professional experience with you. So I hope that you find some of this helpful. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, just a very, very brief background on me. I have my master's in social work and we did counseling for a period of time and then realized that my heart was really more in health coaching and the behavioral management of weight. And that comes from a lifelong struggle with obesity myself. And that's why I've decided to shift my counseling work to more health coaching work. So let's get right down to it. So today we're going to talk about beliefs and how they drive our behaviors. So the number of times that people come into my office and they say, I know exactly what to do and I have no idea why I'm not able to do it. Like, I know what I need to eat. I know that I need to exercise. I know all of these things. Why can't I do them? So, and that was certainly my experience as well for many, many years. The people that come into my office and the people that I speak with know a lot about weight loss. They have tried all the programs. You could ask them many times, like how many net carbs are in any particular food or, whatnot. And they'll be able to answer the question for you. It's not usually a lack of knowledge, although sometimes it can be, there may be gaps in knowledge that we need to fill in. But more often than not, is their own beliefs. If we can think of our beliefs almost like an operating system that's running in the background, they inform our behaviors, whether we are aware of it or not. So as a personal example, I really believed that I would always be a big girl. That's what I was told. That's the messaging that I was given. I was from a Dutch family. My aunt was tall and had broad shoulders. My oma did as well. So I was always told that I was going to be a big girl forever. And so I held that belief for a very, very long time. And truthfully, until I sat down and took a look at what my beliefs were, it turned out that in the background running was the program that said to me, you're not ever going to be able to lose weight. So for me, I had to go back and I had to take a look at some of those beliefs. So that may be a worthwhile exercise. If you are doing all the things that you think should be working and they're not working, we either have a gap in knowledge or our beliefs are not aligning with what we truly want. So the other thing, so there's a couple of things. We need to really unpack what is it that we believe that we can actually achieve. If you are somebody, like so many people out there, who have tried time and time again, all of these different things, and you felt like you were not successful, then your belief may be, I cannot lose weight. I am not able to do this. So we have to look at what do we believe is actually possible, okay? And then we also have to look at what do we believe will happen if we actually succeed? Because this is another piece for people. Whether we realize it or not, we may not consciously be sabotaging ourselves. What self-sabotage is really a misalignment of our beliefs with our actions, right? And so if I believe that I am going to, for example, excess skin is a really big one for people. They believe that if they lose a large amount of weight, they're going to have all this excess skin and it's going to be terrible to deal with. If that is what we are thinking about in the back of our head, we are not going to take the steps that we need to in order to find out if that's actually true or not, if that makes sense. Another one that I've heard of from women in particular is that they believe that if they get to a certain weight or they look a certain way, that they're going to have a lot of unwanted attention from men from the opposite sex. So that's another thing. If that's something that you're really worried about and you really believe in the back of your head, then as much as your conscious brain may want to be a smaller size or healthier or have lower blood pressure or whatever your motivation is, if we believe that good things will not come from achieving that goal, then we're not going to behave in a way that will get us to that goal. Our beliefs drive our behavior. Okay, so again, I'll use a personal example. I was quite concerned about the attention, unwanted attention from people at a smaller size. And in fact, I was actually quite scared of it because when I was in university, I had some very unpleasant experiences of being followed by men in malls and such. And I didn't realize that this was a belief that I held or that I even worried about. I mean, I was a grown woman, I was married, it didn't even register. Part of my weight loss journey involved going to see a psychologist that knew something about weight loss in particular, because I kept sabotaging myself. I would get to a certain point and then I would stop doing exactly the things that were working brilliantly. And I couldn't figure out why. So I thought I need to call in a professional. So an outside eye. And we chatted about it. And as we sort of unpacked the things that I believed, this was one of them, that men were going to be harassing me or whatnot. And we had a really good chat about it. And what I decided in the end was, even though I'm older now, men that are my age aren't necessarily going to behave that way. These are all the things that we talked about, and we really worked through this belief. I ended up taking a self-defense class, and that just was enough for me to be like, now I don't need to be afraid anymore. And I was able to move forward. The other thing is too, that a lot of people just don't believe that it's actually possible. They don't believe that they will ever get to where they want to go. And so if we don't believe that we can achieve something, then we're not going to achieve it. Like if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right? That came from somewhere. That's very, very true. And it seems very simple, but it is very, very true. Now, you might say, okay, Andrea, but if I actually don't believe it and you're telling me to just start believing it, how does that work? Well, we have to act as if for a little while. How would you behave differently if you believed that it was actually possible? Would you behave any differently? If you believed that you were already where you were wanting to be in terms of your health, your blood pressure was low, you were able to walk and hike and do all the things you want to do, what would you be doing differently? And then we reverse engineer it and we work our way backwards. So if I'm somebody that is focused on my health and I feel good, I feel confident, I feel satisfied, I'm able to eat foods I like, I'm able to move my body, what would I be doing differently? And then we just start acting as if. We fake it until we make it. And then somewhere along the lines, it actually just becomes what we believe. Okay? The other thing is that a lot of people believe that this should be very difficult, that weight management has got to be difficult. And if it's not hard, then it's not working. And that's actually not necessarily true. So some of the things that we've always believed to be true, we need to really take a look at and say, is this actually true? Are the things I was told growing up actually true? And some of them may be, but some of them may not be. My parents didn't know if I would always be a big girl or not. They decided to tell me that. They probably thought it was quite comforting that I wouldn't worry about it as much, and maybe they believed it was true as well. But the moment that I challenged that belief, then things started to shift a little bit. So I wanted to see what was possible. So the other thing, let me just grab a book here. So the other thing is people believe that this needs to go perfectly and that there's not going to be bumps along the way. And if I fall off the wagon, well, then it means that I failed. And the truth of the matter is, the only way that we're failing is if we stop trying, right? So the belief that everything is supposed to go perfectly is unhealthy. Perfectionism is not healthy. And we don't strive for perfectionism in any other area of our life. We don't expect our marriages to be perfect. We don't expect our jobs to be perfect. We don't expect to be perfect parents. And yet when it comes to our health, if we skip a couple of days of working out and moving our bodies, if we have a day where we just eat whatever, and you may find that since all of this has started happening, that you may be doing that a little bit more often than you were before. That doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't even mean that you've quit. It just means that you're in the middle of a relapse. And relapses are actually completely normal and actually expected. The secret is just getting back to it as soon as you can. And so that idea and believing that we need to be perfect at managing our health and that our weight loss journey is going to look like this, it's just not true. So we have to challenge some of those beliefs. It's just not true. A progress graph of somebody who is losing weight looks like this. They might actually gain weight in the beginning. At least this is for most of the people that I see, and it was my experience as well. So I gained a little bit as I was learning things and figuring them out. And then people lose a little bit, and then they kind of plateau a little bit. Sometimes, not always, sometimes they'll go up a bit, and then down and up and down and up and down. If you were to move back and take a look at the progress, you will see a lovely slope. But if you look too close, it's gonna look like this. And that's perfectly normal. Those upswings are the points of learning, and then we carry on. Even in maintenance, that's the case. It's up, 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 down, up, 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 up. Oh, that was Mexico. Down a bit, up. That's what we can expect. This is a journey. There is no destination. There is no arriving there and you're done. So also getting that belief out of our head that this is lifelong, which means there's no hurry, right? People are like, I want to get it done. I want to figure it out. I want to be done with this. We're never done with this. We're never done with taking care of ourselves. Another thing that I really love to look at, and if you haven't looked at it much, I highly recommend it, is looking at growth mindset versus fixed mindset. So we hear a lot about this in the educational space. This is actually where I first learned it, was by going to a school council meeting, and they were talking about it in the context of learners at school. But I think it applies beautifully to improving our health and self-care as well. So people who have a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are set and they're not able to change them. They avoid challenges, they give up easily, and will often ignore feedback. So there's a number of groups that I've been following on Facebook for quite some time, like years, and these people are all working at improving their health, and a lot of them, for them, that includes losing some weight, and ignoring feedback is a really big one that I see all the time. So our clothing, how our clothes fit, that's feedback. Getting on a scale and looking at the number, that's feedback. And so I see people, they're doing the same thing that they've always done, and that scale isn't moving, and they're like, oh, I better try harder, instead of looking at approaching it with a growth mindset where maybe, what did I miss? What did I miss? What do I need to re-examine and maybe tweak that might make a difference? People with a growth mindset believe that abilities can be learned and acquired. They can be developed over time. They embrace challenges and they always give their best effort, and they learn from feedback or experiences. So if they're doing a certain plan and then they pop on the scale and they're like, nothing is changing, they're like, I wonder why. I wonder what that's about. So people with a growth mindset approach things with an open mind and an open heart and a sense of curiosity, right? So the other thing is too, with people with a fixed mindset, we'll take a look at somebody who's successful and say, well, they're just born that way. It's so easy for them, and I can't do it because my situation is different. Whereas a person with a growth mindset will look at somebody who's been successful and they will say, hey, I wonder what they're doing that I'm not doing yet. I wonder what I can learn from them. Do you see the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset? Here's a hack for you as I close for today, because I promised you I'd only take about 15 minutes of your time, because I could talk about this stuff forever. Here's a little hack for you from changing fixed mindset statements into growth mindset statements. Is the magic of the word yet. So if you are frustrated because things aren't going the way that you would like, you're not seeing the progress that you would like, I want you to remember this little word. This is a way that we can start thinking with a growth mindset. This is so hard. I haven't figured this out. I can't figure this out yet. I don't like exercising yet. You see how it's different? I can't manage my weight yet, because the whole idea is that there's a lot to learn, and this is a journey. So we learn as we go along, we tweak, we course correct, and we carry on. All right? So beliefs drive our behaviors. If we can approach this with a growth mindset, we throw perfectionism out the window, because there is no such thing as perfect, and we just do the best we can on any given day, which is different from day to day, I will add. But in terms of those beliefs about what we actually believe is possible, what we believe we are capable of, and what we think will happen if we are successful, those three things are really important to spend some time reflecting on. Because if you believe you can't do this, and you believe that good things are not waiting for you on the other side, your brain is brilliant. It's not going to put you in harm's way. So we really need to unpack those beliefs and rewire them so that you can set yourself up for success. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Send me questions. Tell me things you want to hear me talk about. I would love to hear what will be helpful to you. All right, have a great day. Thank you for joining me. I see Kelsey, Meg, Lorianne popped in, Melanie popped in. Thank you guys so much. I post all of these on YouTube afterwards so that you can go back and see them again. And I hope you have a great week. Chat with you next week. Bye-bye.